Hey, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Pat.
We're the co-founders of Vine and Fig, a fully affirming resource for queer Catholics.
And we're going to answer a couple of y'all's questions from Instagram.
Our first question is, what are the top refutations for the oft-quoted theology of the body design and fruitful arguments?
I think with this one, you can, say that there's a lot of beauty to what John Paul II wrote in the Theology of the Body, and the folks who kind of promote a lot of that thinking of saying, like, let's look at the symbolism of Genesis and where it gets us, but also say, well, you don't have to take it like all the way to its most extreme conclusions to say, like, there's a lot of truth and beauty to it. So, for example, like, a lot of folks, will say there's no problem with someone who is maybe menopausal or like can't naturally have any kids or anything, like with them getting married, because it's not an active choice not to have procreative sex in a relationship like that. Same thing for folks in a same-sex relationship.
Yeah, and if you're looking for kind of a book or another resource, Matthew Vines has a good book called God and the Gay Christian. He goes through different clobber passages, but also talks about some of the complementarity arguments that are made. So I definitely check that out too.
What does your logo symbolize?
So with this one, we wanted to kind of get back to that previous question, actually, where we wanted to show the fruitfulness and the goodness of queer people's lives. So we were trying to come up with a name that kind of referenced that. So we found Vine and Fig. It's in Micah 4:4. Everyone will sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one will be afraid. And we wanted to just talk about the harbor and safety of that passage. So when we were coming up with a logo, we tried to find something that depicted that. We worked with a really great logo designer, and that's where the kind of branch comes from and the hand grasping for it.
Go follow Elliot. He's great. We'll link below.
Okay, so next question is, when will Taberton be returning?
Thursday.
The next question is, how do you feel about consecrated gay people? I couldn't endure the hypocrisy.
I want to push back a little bit against the idea that it's somehow inherently hypocritical to be a consecrated person in the Catholic life who is also gay, because at Vine and Fig, we very much believe that there is such a thing as a call to celibacy within the Catholic Church. We just very much don't agree that it can ever be enforced. Basically, you can't say that just because you're gay, just because you experience same-sex attractions, or however you want to put it, that therefore you have to be celibate, you have to be a consecrated person. So we think that you can entirely, and we know people who are consecrated and also are fully affirming of same-sex relationships. They believe that God is calling them to be celibate, but that has a lot more to do with their own prayer life and their own sense of mission in the world, and a whole lot less to do with how they view their own sexuality or the goodness of same-sex relationships where they see them elsewhere in the world. What are some steps to connecting with a supportive Catholic Church? I grew up Catholic, but lost faith because #gay.
So this one is tricky, and I feel like even myself, trying to find a parish can be hard. In general, I would say look at universities or Catholic centers on college campuses. They tend to be a little more progressive. New Ways Ministry has a list of churches that you could check out if there's one in your local area. We'll link that. And also our Slack community. So we have an online community built on the Slack platform. So essentially just like a chat room, and you can talk with folks, talk about theology, anything, random stuff. It's a really great resource, and we can link to that as well if you're interested and want to sign up.
Yeah, it's an awesome place to meet other queer Catholics who are fully affirming. It's also a safe place where you can, if you work for a Catholic church, or if you are in a space where you are not maybe fully out or anything, you can find some other folks who are in a similar boat, and you won't be outed, and we'll just grow together. So that's our Slack community that's also linked below.
See you on the internet. I don't know why I said that. You can cut it out.